guys, welcome to another episode of the Real Football Talk. I have Cameron with me. Adi cannot join us today. We did have some technical difficulties yesterday. He was going to join us, but because of the difficulties, he couldn't join us. But Cam's still here, so here we go. Cam, how are you? Good weekend?
Yeah, good. I thought I'd just point out to the audience that the technical difficulties was my fault. Well, not my fault, but it was on my side.
Taking ownership on Live Van Dijk, but let's go.
Yeah.
But yeah, where else to start from the North London derby? I mean, again, another thriller. As always at that derby. I don't know. Every single game seems to be electric. To be honest, between the two. So far for the last couple of years, it's been.
Not surprising.
What,
Not surprising.
what did you make out of it? What did you make of it? Sorry.
I don't know. I kind of always thought it was going to be a draw, or my predictions kind of going into it was that it was going to be a draw, not a 0-0, but I knew that there would be goals.
Yeah.
I had a feeling Saka, Son, they were going to be on the score sheet or they were going to be involved in the goals. It's just one of those things.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised by the result. I'm not kind of surprised the way Arsenal started the game. They came in like the home team. They had the fans behind them. They were showing that vigor, that fight. It was a really strong start from Arsenal. I think Spurs kind of just showed the resilience, if anything, and I think this Spurs team, losing Kane, obviously there's big question marks, but I think they're showing a lot of personality more than anything. I think they're showing that they've got grit, they've got fight. Again, it's a North London derby. With any derby, some teams they just turn up and they really do showcase. But Tottenham have started on good form, and they kind of brought that into this game. So, yeah, I think as Arsenal fans, you'll probably be more disappointed with a draw. But as Spurs fans coming away, especially with Arsenal being favourites, I think they're happier out of the two.
Yeah, I mean, definitely they'll be happier because any result away against the top team is good, right? Personally, I think we should have won considering some of the chances we had, and the period of dominance. Because if you look at it from the point of view of the Jesus chance, he takes it, it pretty much puts the game to bed. Also, I think a big factor where the game changed was the Rice injury, because I think as long as Rice was there, Tottenham didn't really have much because he was eating up every single second ball. So I think that was a massive factor, obviously losing Rice and that engine in the middle, because you saw how much of an impact they made and how much we couldn't press as a team because Jorginho hasn't got that leg. So we couldn't push up as much, and that stopped us from, doing what we were doing initially. And I think that had a major impact in the game. Obviously, Spurs had a good moment, let's say in the second half, straight after they scored when Jorginho made the mistake. They had that 10 odd minutes where they looked a bit more dominant, but didn't, to be honest, to me, look like they were going to score. I didn't feel like they would score. And then obviously,
I didn't think Spurs looked like they were going to win the game. I just think they were in the fight.
It felt more like the errors that we made cost us, and that's what's been happening in the last 3-4 games. We've been losing points more down, or losing goals more down to individual errors rather than anything else. Because if you look at the stats for like the defensive stats, we either first or second in every single aspect. So it's been the errors, and you can't count for something like what Jorginho's done. Let's be honest, like out of 50 times,
the thing is losing Rice to Jorginho, that's not ideal.
No, but even Jorginho, he's a good ball player, right? Out of 50 times, probably once, and that is that once he would give that ball away in that situation.
No, but what I'm saying, that you can't. There's a lot of times, especially in big games like this, the last thing you want is for a top midfielder to make a mistake like that. But again, when you lose a player like Rice, who he might not be the fanciest, and he might not, be like Thiago-esque or the type of player that kind of looks good on the eye, but you know what you get with him. He does win the ball. He is strong in the air, and he runs. The guy can run, and he recovers the ball a lot in that team. So you can understand why Arsenal bought him. So I think you could see the difference when he's gone off. Now, I think the main problem between the two games as well was maybe the creativity come from Arsenal side. And I think that's been a common theme throughout the season for Arsenal at the moment, because last year's Arsenal, even when they weren't playing well, the creativity was there. Whether it was Odegaard, Saka, Martinelli, I know Gabriel Jesus had his injury problems, but even when he would pop in, he was so good at holding the ball, bringing the strikers, the wingers in, playing as that false nine, that you could see that with Arsenal. I don't know, with Arsenal right now, it didn't feel like the game was being won in midfield as much as it was going to be done with maybe some individual brilliance or maybe a good display of attacking talent. The
Yeah.
midfield, both teams, the midfield seemed a bit.
The
One
problem
half,
was,
Arsenal was on top. Second half, Tottenham was on top. The midfield was a bit like it wasn't as much of a battle as
yeah,
much as I thought it'd be.
the problem was with the fact with the what's his name. I didn't agree with some of the substitutions that Arteta made. Taking
That's a
off
common theme now, isn't it? It's like Arsenal
taking off
fans.
someone like Jesus
Jesus,
who could make an
yeah,
impact because Eddie being up there were so many situations like we dominated toward like last 15 minutes it was all Arsenal. We're dominating, we're getting into good position, good areas to cross, and like they're not crossing it in because it's Nketiah, let's be honest. And I just felt that it was missing that somebody. Maybe do you know maybe what he should have done? I get it. He played Havertz as the left center. Maybe he should have told him just go next to Eddie and just stay there because we dominating anyway
yeah,
and pushed out because we need that second personnel in that box to do something. And I think he missed the trick there personally and it kind of highlights one of the issues kind of I've said for the last I think year and a half that as much as Jesus is great I
yeah,
still think we lack a out and out striker.
yeah. That's what I think.
Yeah,
You can
and
see why City sold him
yeah.
because he wasn't producing the goods when you need it.
No, but like, see, I love Jesus, and I wouldn't mind having him. But what I'm saying is that Jesus could be the guy that you know what covers for your Saka, covers for
Yeah,
your
yeah, yeah, yeah,
number nine, covers for your if Trossard, Martinelli both gone. Do you know what I mean? And we got so many games. Bringing on someone like Jesus, it's massive.
yeah. Quality
Plus,
depth,
different
quality
game,
depth.
yeah, different game requires different things. Like towards the end, maybe we do need a focal point, and you switch on that other striker that we would buy. And some games you need Jesus, smart movement, especially against the low block.
Yeah,
You can put him and he can link up with Trossard, Martinelli, Saka, and boom. So yeah, I mean, obviously we can't buy everybody in one transfer window, so that seems to be
but equally, there's not many great number nines out there at the moment. I mean,
no, no.
at one point you did have an out and out striker in Aubameyang, and he was amazing for you guys. But since then, obviously, the game and Arsenal have evolved from playing that style,
Yeah,
playing that
yeah.
way, and it's just one of those things now where do Arsenal continue to play in this style? Because I don't feel like the Havertz experiment is working. I'm not, I don't think he is the worst player to come into Arsenal team, but I just don't think he's made a major difference, especially with the money that he's coming for. I think if anything, your team looks stronger without Havertz in the squad. So it's just one of those where I think Arsenal maybe need to start looking deeper into maybe the squad depth and the type of players that they have and where they're playing.
Yeah, you see, do you know what my problem with Havertz is? I think he's getting into good situation and good areas, and I think what he's lacking is that one or two goal, where if he gets that like 2 weeks in a row, he gets an assist and a goal and stuff. I think that will come back because if you look at the chances he's missed, it's nothing more technical. It's rather that his
Confidence.
hesitance and lacking of confidence. It's
Yeah.
someone without any belief.
Yeah.
That's like it seems like the time at Chelsea and obviously him coming and like missing a few opportunities. It's a bit too much. So I think it. You can see the good sides, as in the amount of tackles he wins, the
Yeah.
aerial
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
balls he wins. So you can see the good side. Maybe he doesn't get enough on the ball, yes, like Odegaard. But if he does the same thing as Odegaard, then he kills Odegaard. So you'd rather have Odegaard on the ball and him getting those second flick ons, right? So you can't have it that way. So it's
Yeah,
that give and
I,
take.
I think there is a system. I think obviously Arteta's obviously working with him and telling him there's a style that he would like him to play in. So I don't think he has the same role that Odegaard would, because
I
I
mean,
think Odegaard, even in the midfield, I think Odegaard's more of a number 10
yeah,
in
I think
that
I think
in
I
that
think
role.
he would work. Havertz would work good in the Champions League games because it's less transitional to the Premier League because Premier League is more faster and more transitional because it's rapid, right? The intensity. Where the Champions League is a bit more tactical, a bit more slower. So he will fit in perfectly in the eight. So that's where Arteta needs to find the balance, and I think that's what he was trying to do. Because in the Champions League he played Havertz, and obviously now he's played what's his name, Vieira in this game. Maybe, I mean, I felt during the summer we did need another eight. We were up for Gundogan, but obviously he decided to go to Barcelona. So
Yeah.
you can't pull him for that, you know.
Well,
But
you could say Barca's not exactly the best
yeah,
best
but
player
do you
right
know,
now.
like as a player, like like Barca is.
Yeah.
But when Barca and Real Madrid come, it's one of those things, unfortunately, whether you like it or not.
But
They got that.
Madrid, you can still understand. I feel like they still
No,
got that
even
pedigree
Barca, but like for these
into
all
like
these like
Europeans and
and like Brazilian and South American players, Barca and Madrid are like massive global teams. So you could understand that. But what I was gonna say, what did you make of Tottenham and I mean top four candidate, because I don't think any of us put them into the top four prediction.
we did put them just outside the top four.
Well, I did. I
Uh,
put in mind.
we did put them just outside the top four. Well, when I say just outside,
I think you
behind
put them at
Villa,
seventh or eighth.
we put them behind Chelsea, Villa, and Newcastle, but we didn't put them like really low. And we also did say it depends on how the season starts, because we all said that, like, about Chelsea, it's about Poch coming in and making these players work. So we had more faith in Poch and the players that he's bringing in, or the players that were brought in, more than the actual team and the players, I guess. And yeah, Tottenham, I think, are showing us that if anything, they look a better side without Kane. I feel like because they've lost that talisman, and now they're having to play, with more focal points. I know Maddison is being now made to be that talisman. I just don't think it's him. You've got Son, you've got Kulusevski, even in midfield, Basuma's really putting in a shift. Romero's coming into centre back. He looks.
I'm sorry. He's awful. That nobody can tell me otherwise.
I,
He's
different
awful.
opinion. I don't think he's awful. I
He's
think
awful.
he suits Tottenham. There's only one way to explain it.
He's
It's
awful.
like
I think if anything, is Van is the guy that's saving them. If anything, Romero. I think the Sheffield game. I can't remember the other game. Even this game, both the goals again. It's down to him.
he is a bit like Martinez, in the sense that he's a bit hot-headed, kind of goes in, he'll pick fights, it's like short
Yeah.
man syndrome essentially. But he's
That,
not short, but you know what I mean? But what I'm trying to say is he's got fight and vigor in him. Almost everything that people used to applaud Vidic for. So I mean, if you maybe give him some settling time,
do
he
not
might
compare him
come in
to
good.
Vidic. I'm sorry.
No,
Please.
no, 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 no.
Nowhere near that standard.
I'm saying Pashun, the
I'm
PSHUN
I'm an
Pashun.
Arsenal fan, but I can't take that.
Passion. I'm talking about that pure passion for the game.
But I mean, Ange has done. He's doing well. I think where the issue might be for them is, can they continue this momentum? What happens when they start losing a few? Have they got the character to carry?
I think they do. I
I
think they're not top four candidates, but if United have, a wishy-washy season where they've not started in good form, and then I know they just picked up a win, but then if they go to big games and lose again, it depends on how United's season go. I can see then maybe Tottenham sneaks in, because I don't see Newcastle being as threatening with Champions League, and I know they got an 8-0 win, but the season itself, that so far they've not looked that great. They might turn it around,
They
but I
did.
think
I mean, they did play a few difficulties, but we'll get to
yeah,
them. We'll get to
definitely.
these.
I just mean to say is there's teams which aren't showing their best form yet, so unless they turn those around,
Yeah.
maybe Spurs can break into the top four, but I don't think they're ready yet. I don't think they'll make it in top four just yet.
Just to finish off, I think personally, I mean, I think it's been an okay start for Arsenal. I think they're still figuring a lot out. And there's quite a few chopping and changing. And they are struggling with a bit with a couple of the injuries to key areas.
Yeah.
But I think as long as we get to, say, for instance, January, February, around those area between Man City, Liverpool, 3-4 points around that time, I think that would be good. If we could get that, then they'll be in contention. But
I think
if
it'd be
we pull off
nice to
even more, then
see
it'd be an issue.
because I think recently over the last few years it's always been like one team or the other. If it has been Liverpool or City going for the title, I know last year was Arsenal or City, or City just run away with it. There's not been more than two teams or just the
No.
one team with City fighting for the title. So I think that would be nice if that happens.
Yeah, yeah,
The only thing I would say, which might be annoying for Arsenal fans, because if I was an Arsenal fan, if this was happening at Liverpool, what would annoy me is that we were fighting for the title last year, and it's almost as if there's a little bit of complacency or maybe a lack of fight in certain areas
I see.
of the pitch.
I wouldn't say there's a lack of fight. I think we've been a bit unfortunate. If I'm being honest, like if we look at the two games, right?
Yeah.
We drop points against Fulham. We got 2-1 up, and again we make a silly mistake to give a goal.
But as I'm saying, it's not. It's one of those where it is the mistakes, but you can't even early on in the season you can't afford mistakes like that.
No, of course not. But what I'm saying is, you rather do it now, as in have those mistakes, than at the critical time. So I think there's still time for them to build that. You rather build your performances and go towards the end than rather than go 100 miles per hour and then hit the stumbling blocks, because
Do
that's
you know
when
what it is? I think with City, where they're almost flawless at times, I think any draw, any loss, it feels like such a big hit now. Whereas before in the league, you could take a loss, you could take a draw.
I'm gonna make an outrageous statement. Not now. Let's see his one.
Yeah. No, what I just mean to say is over the last few years, even like as when Liverpool went, 90 odd points both times fighting with City and City still win it. It's just you almost have to be flawless because then isn't even as a Liverpool fan, but then we look back at the games, if we didn't draw this game or if we didn't drop points here, then it becomes one of those ones. And that's what I'm saying. Like with City, sometimes it's almost like you have to be flawless. That a simple loss, or even now, like a simple draw, which you would usually take, it almost feels like a loss because you never know where are City going to lose, where are City going to drop points.
Drop points. Yeah, no, 100%. Let's move on. Let's move on. I mean, we touched up on every single team. Liverpool 3-1 winner against West Ham. What did you make of it? Obviously, West Ham had two great opportunities from Ward-Prowse and then Antonio to take the lead, but it was Liverpool that took the lead with Salah getting a penalty.
I don't think it was Ward-Prowse. I don't think it was Ward-Prowse. It was early on.
Yeah, the first one was a Ward-Prowse header.
No, it wasn't him.
Who was it then?
What's his name, man?
It was Ward-Prowse.
No, it wasn't Ward-Prowse.
I'm telling you, it was Ward-Prowse. Crossed it to Ward-Prowse. Sorry.
Ward-Prowse crossed it.
To Bowen, but yeah, go on. I'm talking about the first chance.
Yeah, the first chance I think was Kufal.
Yeah, it was to Bowen. It was to Bowen.
Yeah, one of them. It wasn't
Ward-Prowse. Bowen knocked it down to Antonio. Antonio passed it out wide, and then he got crossed in.
Yeah, and then
Alisson,
big save. Alisson, big save. Yeah.
Again, this is what I mean. Alisson, this guy, man, is just stupendous.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. So like Alisson, big save. So Antonio again, he missed basically a free header. There's no other way to spin it. I know the ball was whipped at him, but it wasn't with enough pace where he couldn't direct it. It was a really, really good cross. All he had to do was find the target. We would have been talking about a very different game had West Ham finished those chances. You can't say anything about the Alisson save, but that free header, that
you have to finish.
You have to get on target.
You have to finish.
If Alisson saves it, he saves it, but you have to get on target. There was no excuse for Antonio not to hit the target there. But look, Liverpool benefited from it because not too long after we went onto the other side, counter attack. Got the goal. Unfortunately, obviously, we conceded. Credit to Bowen, stuck his head somewhere. Where he could have easily got his face kicked in. Directed it well, got the goal just before halftime, and then we almost go and score before halftime. And then after halftime, we basically just didn't really let them get near the goal. There was a few chances, but nothing where it was threatening like the first half. It almost basically ended like a comfortable win.
Yeah, towards the end, yeah.
You know, Nunes missed a few sitters as well, and then when he finally
But I
scored,
mean, he did.
he
That finish was great, by the way.
yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. Like you could see the relief on his face because he misses certain chances, but then he scores a goal like that, and then it's
Yeah.
like.
You're like,
But this is why Liverpool fans love him. This is why
he takes the difficult one, but the easy one is too easy for him. So he's like, I'm just gonna miss.
that's what I'm saying.
But
You know, he robbed Salah of 2 assists.
you know what I was gonna say is do you know what the couple of things that keep, because obviously this game against Tottenham will be really good because obviously Tottenham don't sit off and they go for it, and Liverpool do the same, right? So it'll be good. But you know, like if I look at the two chances and even the Bowen goal, it just concerns me, like Van Dijk and his positioning and the lack of confidence. Because like if you look at the Bowen goal, right? Why is he sticking a leg out, bro? Go meet that ball. You're a defender. Go meet that ball.
No, I don't. Basically, as a Liverpool fan, I think we see Van Dijk very differently to how everyone else sees him. They kind of pick out on what he could have done, but then we see him throughout the game, and he's doing
No,
so much. Honestly, sometimes it feels like
that cost you goal. Like the Bowen chance. Say it was the Bowen chance, right? How is Bowen winning that header? Come on. You're saying I'm picking out. These are
no, but I think it's easy to target Van Dijk, but
these are big moments. These are big moments that could change the game. Not in this game. It didn't impact you, but going down. That's what I'm saying. I'm not talking about now and you've done this game. It's done. I'm talking about these are repeated.
Yeah, but like I said, I think Van Dijk taking the captaincy. I think he's actually really rediscovered his form in a lot of ways. You know, and throughout the game, you know, even like I said, I'm not a big stats guy, but there's certain stats you kind of have to look at. You know, you have to look at the amount of aerial duels he's winning, the amount of interceptions he's making. You know, he is performing at a high level. The Bowen goal, the cross almost, because it was almost a bit of an agility test. He was running in one direction, and then he had to switch his body direction quite quickly by the time that cross came in. That all he could do was stick his leg out.
No, see, so this is where I'm wrong. As a defender, you get your man and you face the cross.
But then, if anything, Bowen ran across Matip and Gomez more than he did Van Dijk.
No, he was next to Van Dijk.
No, the ball when Bowen ran across, he ran past.
If you watch the video, Van Dijk sticks.
I watched the match.
Bowen comes and.
I watched the match.
I've watched the highlight. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, I'm telling you, what I'm saying is, it's easy to say, oh, why did he stick his leg out? If anything, it was just a good header, and it showed Bowen's tenacity. But what I'm saying is, Bowen, the run Bowen made came from Matip's side.
You're misunderstanding the point. I'm pointing out issues that might impact them later on. I'm not saying it impacted this game. I'm saying these are things that may.
No. But you're drawing on the fact that, oh, why did Van Dijk do this? Because basically,
I just didn't give one example. I gave you two examples just from the two I've seen.
No, what I'm trying to say is it's easy to. It's almost like
these are big moments, Cam. These are big moments. That's
yeah, but it's not on Van Dijk on his own. Do you know what I mean?
He's the one marking the guy. So who is it going to be on? Next man who's on the bench.
No, but it wasn't. It's not just him though. Think about it. This wasn't even our strongest defense though. Kanate wasn't on. You know, no, but it wasn't. Kanate.
You're missing the point.
No, but you're trying to. It's not just Van Dijk.
It doesn't matter. It's not your strongest. He's defending that moment. He's defending that tackle or cross or whatever it is. So if it's him on that man, it's his responsibility. It doesn't matter.
But of course, and at the end of the day, we've seen Van Dijk's human. He's not like when he first come to Liverpool.
Okay.
No, but what I'm saying is, if he's made a mistake on that, which I don't think was his mistake, I just think Bowen was just more tenacious in winning the header. Then fair enough, but I don't think it was Van Dijk's mistake, and I don't think he's been making many mistakes this season so far.
Looking forward to obviously next week's against Tottenham. I mean, what do you make of Liverpool's start? I mean, 16 points out of possible 18, 1 draw, 5 wins. Good start. I think 17 games they haven't lost since.
Yeah, we haven't lost a game in forever. 17 games or so. Yeah, but you know what it is? I think there's a lot of Liverpool fans traumatized from last year, yeah. So it's almost as if we're not getting our hopes up in the sense that we could lose at any point or we could draw a game at any point and it will feel disappointing. But I feel confidence going to Spurs. You know, we haven't really lost to Spurs in a while actually, since Lovren was in our team. You know, it was quite a while back. You know, that was the last time I think we lost to Spurs. So I feel quite confident going into that game. Whether we'll leave with a win,
Yeah.
I don't know, but I think the team has enough. There's enough firepower in that team. The likes of like Soboslai and McAllister, you know, Trent coming back next week. There's enough creativity in that squad to get goals and win the game.
Personally, I think it's going to be an awesome game. I'm looking forward to it. So it should be good. It should be good.
I think it'll be similar to the Arsenal game. There should be goals. Well, will be goals.
There will be
goals. There will be goals.
Let's move on. I mean, obviously, bitter rival of Liverpool United, 1-0 win. I mean, what did you make of it against Burnley? I mean, Johnny Evans had a goal disallowed, rightly so, I would say, in my view, because obviously Højlund was obstructing the keeper. But I don't know, it felt scrappy, to be honest. But Burnley looked really good for at least a point.
Burnley were all over them at one point. If anything, Burnley probably deserved it the first half. You know, if Burnley I don't know, if Burnley were maybe more decisive in front of goal, they were better in front of goal, they might have won that game, you know, because defensively they weren't horrible, you know, but like United took a while to break them down, you know, and it was only after they got the goal did they kind of grow into the game. After that, United kind of started putting the pressure on. They started to show more fight in midfield. You know, Rashford started to show a bit more of his self. You know, I think he's been lacking a bit of confidence recently. So there's the team, obviously, United started playing better then, and I think it was important for them to win because I think there's been a lot of talk or background noise and, you know, things happening in the club more than what's happening on the football pitch. So I think for United fans and for the team, maybe this will help. For Ten Hag, maybe as well.
I think it's a confidence builder, right? It's just getting that over the line somehow, however it is, just to build some momentum, build some confidence, because they do have a good run of fixtures coming up, so should be helpful for them to just obviously build on that performance, even though it was a 1-0 scrappy win. Sometimes when your confidence is low and when you're down on the deck, you need that kind of sort of win just to, you know, give you some belief and
that's what I think, because it's a 1-0 away win.
Yeah. And then they done it with their, I think, what, 6th choice defender or something. So I mean, when I saw Johnny Evans, I'm not gonna lie, I was like, wow, you know what, Burnley's got a real good chance. But credit to him, man. Ferguson player, bro, and he showed that mentality. You know, he rose to the challenge, and he was the difference maker. If you look,
but to be fair, he's never been an awful centre back. It's just if you want United to be competing for titles, it's not exactly Johnny Evans you want in your first team squad. No. So I mean, United are, you know, ridden with injuries at the moment, so they had to rely on him. They had to rely on him.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like I said, Burnley, I know we had them touted to be quite comfortable in the league, but they're
struggling, isn't it?
They seem to be struggling. So
the biggest problem is
hopefully they can turn it around.
Yeah,
but maybe they're just showing a bit of naivety, inexperience in the league.
That's it.
Could be Kompany, you know, Kompany's first time managing in the Premier League, so it's a lot to get used to.
I think the other thing is it's not just that it's a young squad, a squad with a lot of players that didn't play in the Premier League, and plus it feels like they don't have that physical prowess to do something, and also the other problem is that the fact that obviously they're naive and very attacking. And that's obviously causing them issues. So I think those couple of areas they need to adjust and fix because they're too easy to play against. And obviously, team of like Premier League teams, which is gonna, you know, rip you up. You can get away with it in the Championship maybe, but in the Premier League, every team has a good striker.
Yeah, you can see that. I think they're sticking to the philosophy, but sometimes, especially when you haven't got the resources, maybe other teams do, then you kind of have to play a bit more pragmatic. I think Burnley need to probably find that balance, you know, because they are attacking, but it's all good attacking, but they're not getting any goals. So
no.
You know, they're kind of shooting themselves.
They're missing a number, like clear cut number 9 up there. Someone that's gonna get them that. I don't know, about 7.
Lukaku maybe
7 to 15 goals. But yeah, I think that's what's missing. Someone to just take some of those chances and make that 1-0, 2-0, so on and so forth. Let's move on from them. I mean, Man City too. I mean, when I saw that first 15, 20, I mean, not even the first 45 minutes, I was like, whoa, this is going to be a riot, because they just blew Nottingham. Nottingham Forest didn't even turn up. I would say that's how good Man City were. And then obviously after half time, Rodri straight away gets a red card, and changes the whole complexion of the game. But even then, City looked quite comfortable, I would say. Haaland held the ball up quite well, and they had quite a few chances on the counter.
Yeah, it's kind of what I was just saying with City, innit? They're almost like flawless at times, and you kind of know a City versus Sheffield game or City versus any team near about the bottom 10, near the mid-table clubs, you can't expect City to win. It doesn't seem as if there's any doubt. And I think Rodri's red card is probably the biggest talking point, because then later on, Edison could have got one as well, with the way he was reacting. And it just seemed weird for it to turn into such a cagey affair when they were so comfortable. It didn't really make sense. It really didn't make any sense.
It's stupid from Rodri. I don't know why he's thinking.
I just don't understand that. It didn't make any sense why the players were reacting like that. Like, I know Rodri, like, as a CDM, there is like the odd harsh tackle he makes, and he can be a bit, there is a dirty side to him, but he's smarter than that. Do you know what I'm trying to say? I just couldn't understand where the aggro was coming from.
Yeah. I mean, I think he's been one of the best players of the season so far. So, but that was
exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, he's been showing his class all season. It was really weird. It was really strange.
6 out of 6 for Man City. I mean, do you know what? And this is what I was gonna tell you.
Yeah, go on. Exactly. Go
on. I'm like, literally, I'm watching. Then I'm thinking, they've done treble. They've done they've done 100 points, etc. They're like, so I'm not. Oh, my camera's invincible. My camera's gone at the wrong time. I'm thinking Pep's sitting there. He's like, what should I do next? Let's go for the Invincibles. Maybe.
I mean, he almost did. He almost did that one season.
I didn't put it past him, because it kept coming to my head. Like the last 2 weeks, I don't know why. I've been thinking. I just keep thinking. You know what? City gonna do the treble? Not treble. Sorry, the Invincible, because it just feels that this. I'm calling it out there. I don't know if they do it.
Even when you kind of look at the Champions League groups and you look at the competition this year, I don't see any team strong enough that can really compete with City. They're probably favourites again.
They are favourites. According to the bookies or whatever.
Bookies, pundits, but even like to the average fan, they're probably favourites. There's other seasons where it's Madrid or X, Y, and Z, but I think City, they just look too strong, and with Haaland up top, they are favourites, and I feel like they're going to continue to stay favourites.
Only team I could see maybe do something is maybe Bayern, but
that's why I was thinking Bayern probably. Because now with the addition of Kane, maybe kind of evens the playing field.
Do you know the problem is? Bayern's defense is awful. Come on, if Man United
last year we saw it.
Man City and Haaland, like when De Bruyne's back, they're just gonna eat them up.
Yeah,
they're gonna gobble them up.
Yeah. No, we saw it last year. Like they couldn't keep up with City. City was too much for them.
No.
So I think City are just one of those teams now where. That's why I was saying, like, any draw, draw shouldn't be such a big deal. Like, all right, cool, we went to a hard away game, got a draw. But when you want to compete for the title, like Arsenal are, that's what I was saying. Spurs will be happy out of the two, because for Arsenal fans, that's another draw now. Puts you even further behind City, especially when you're going for the title. It's just not a nice feeling, because then you literally look at City and think, when are you going to drop points? Where are you going to drop points? Because I think even Arsenal fans probably aren't too confident going to City, or City come to Arsenal, because I don't think Arsenal have beaten City in forever.
There's always hope, Cam. There's always hope.
But I just don't know. It's just one of those things, isn't it? Like Rodri
took a red card just so that he could come and lose. They could come and lose to Arsenal. Okay, let's just be optimistic.
We'll leave it at that then.
But let's move on. I mean, let's move to Chelsea. I don't even know what to make it. How abysmal they've been. They've been playing good, but they've been losing, and the rot just continues. And another loss against Aston Villa. what is it? That's one win, and that was against Luton.
Luton, literally the bottom of the
If you
table.
be realistic, yeah, if we're not bottom of the table, we're 18th,
Okay.
all right,
All right, all right. 80.
all right.
Bottom of the table at the time. At
Hey,
the time.
what's it called? Yeah, I mean, what's going on with Chelsea because they just can't seem to put away any chances, and they're really struggling.
I just think for them, it is too many players. It's a big squad, new manager, and it's what I said at the start of the season. I think Chelsea fans and the board and the whole ethos around the club need to change, where it's not about quick success anymore. Because I think they were very used to that at Chelsea. It's now a project, and I think the expectations of the club need to realize that it's a transitional period, and you're not going to be competing this year. You're not going to be maybe in top four, but
Fully understood. Fully understood. But if you
but
look
the
at
money they've spent,
yeah,
they
no,
should
no,
be.
forget the money, forget the money. Yeah,
But
if you look at even some of the players they have within the squad, if you look at the manager, you can't tell me a team like that can't go to Bournemouth and co and get results because it's not like they had very difficult fixtures. They haven't. The difficult fixtures are coming up. So as a
yeah, no,
Chelsea
they've got a
fan, yeah,
hard run coming up.
yeah, but that's my point. It's like these are the games that you'd have expected them to pick up the points, and maybe yeah, because of the obviously amount of movements and stuff, they would struggle against the games that are coming up further down. So if you're struggling already now, going into those games, I mean, the question comes: is Poch's job in danger because obviously clearly he's not performing. One win, what two was it? Two draw or what? One draw, sorry.
One draw, yeah.
Where are they? No, two draw. Sorry, two draw.
Liverpool,
And
they beat Luton. Who else did they draw with?
they drew against someone Bournemouth away.
Bournemouth. That's it, Bournemouth.
Bournemouth away. Yeah. So it's not good enough for someone like Chelsea, even at this stage. Is Potter's job in danger, do you reckon?
Um,
Because fans were booing.
it's a difficult one. I've seen both sides of Chelsea. For me, it's hilarious. I'd rather Chelsea stay in this rut. But if I'm looking realistically, Chelsea seem to turn up for the big games. You know, regardless of who's manager and what the reason. You know, we saw it at the start of the season. I know it was an opening game, but we saw a Chelsea side that could look threatening, that could get goals, that look dangerous. You know, regardless.
But they
So
look dangerous, but they can't finish their
yeah,
run.
yeah. No, I know they can't. But what I'm trying to say is there's certain games I think Chelsea will turn up for, and I think there will be a handful of big games that they'll turn up for, and they'll surprise everyone. Then they'll go on a run of games like this, and it will just constantly be this. And I completely agree with you. When you've got the likes of Caicedo, Enzo Fernandez in your team, you know, you've got Raheem Sterling, you've got players, big personalities in your squad. You know, it's surprising to see that they're not doing better. You know, they aren't performing better. You know, they've got a manager in Pochettino that we saw with Tottenham, took them all the way to a Champions League final. So they definitely have something there. What's wrong at Chelsea? I just feel like there's no cohesion.
Yeah.
Who do you play where and when? There's obviously not a fixed starting 11.
I mean, even if you look at the decision to leave Chilwell out, absurd.
That's what I'm saying.
Why?
What I'm trying to say is that it's just he's looking at his squad and he's probably thinking, all right, cool, let me try and switch it up. What I'm saying is he's got almost too much choice because he
But
can leave out whoever he wants when he wants.
what's there to switch up? It's not like you got Champions League or loads of cup games and this and that. So also
Because they're not
play your
winning.
best 11.
Because
Play your
they're not
best
winning.
11.
They're not winning. So that's they
It's
think
just
like you know what I'm saying? Like it's like you put a kid in the candy shop and they want everything. So
it's pathetic,
it's like
man.
he's looking at all this in front of him and thinking, oh well, if we're not winning here, let me try and slot him in, see if that works.
Yeah. I
And I'm
mean,
not saying Chelsea have rotated a lot, but I think the problem here is there's going to be a lot of unrest in, like, you know, behind closed doors. The fans are unsettled. Poch's job probably is in danger because I don't think the ethos in the club is going to change. So, yeah, I mean, back to your question, I do think his job's in danger, but again, I think the ethos needs to change at Chelsea because I don't think any manager can come in and just switch it around straight away.
good. I mean, good result for Villa. They're up to what, six now? Six game played, 12 points. So they're right in that mix. About where we would say we said they will be in around those
Yeah.
those zones. To be honest. Let's do a quick touch up on Newcastle 8-0 emphatic win. I mean, they've destroyed Sheffield, man. They literally destroyed them.
Emphatic.
And
It's
eight different scorers, you know.
yeah, I don't think that's ever happened before.
Has it? Hey, that's an interesting stat to look up. Maybe has it ever
Yeah,
happened? Someone let us know, please.
yeah,
Um,
because 8-0 and 8 different scorers.
eight different scorers.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah, yeah. That's mad.
Is
That's
that at one point they probably thought, let's try and get everyone to score in it. It was one of those, five-a-side football matches.
mad. Oh, when you're trying to get your defender to go and
Yeah,
score.
you try to get the dead guy to come shoot in.
Oh man, but what do you make of them? It's been a mixed bag for them. They had a difficult start because considering they played, what is it, Liverpool, Man City, they also played Aston Villa, and somebody else I can't remember. But they had a tough start, but they got 9 points from it and got Champions League. I mean,
I think
what do you
the
make of
Villa
it?
game. I think the Villa game they should have been better.
Hmm.
Liverpool game again. They could have won that game. They let themselves down. So they've not had bad performances to say the
Yeah.
least. They're not a bad team. Like I said, they're just not gonna, in my opinion, probably make top four because they have to juggle Champions League and the Premier League. And if they drop out the Champions League,
See,
that's Europa League.
if United sort themselves out, I don't know. I mean, I just don't think Tottenham have got the squad for it, the squad depth personally. They
Yeah.
might do it, but I don't think they can they've got that number 9 sorted. And I think that might be an issue. And I think this is where Newcastle might just sneak back into that top 4 again if United don't sort themselves out.
I think this is a big premise on United not making top
Yeah,
four.
but I mean, Champions League. The funny thing is, we all talking about top 4, top 4, top 4. I mean, top 5 get Champions League, man.
Oh yeah, fair enough. Yes, fair enough. But I think it's always that top four in it.
We need to change it. Top 5,
top
top
five.
5.
Yes, top five.
Top
But
5.
even then, it's I don't know. They winning 8-0 away. Now you can almost guarantee that that's a big confidence boost.
No, 100%, 100%.
You could going into the next game. They're a threat. People will keep their eyes out now, thinking, "Wow, all right, that was a big game, big performance."
Yeah, but you know, bigger than I think it might have a bigger. Does it? I mean, does it have a bigger impact on Sheffield? I'm thinking rather than Newcastle because obviously Newcastle, yeah, 8-0 win, you move on, but getting beat 8-0 might just destroy any confidence as Sheffield. I mean, they weren't winning or doing anything. I mean, they played well against Man City, etc., and I mean probably should have won against Tottenham, and then they come into this Newcastle game with a bit more confidence and they get absolutely battered.
I think it's just a change in expectation. I think certain teams, like I said, is like they see a certain team and they have to be more up for it. There's something about when the mid-table clubs face each other, but there's probably not enough emphasis on it. And some players probably go out there thinking, "I play my best, I might get my big move," type of thing. You never know what it is that goes through these players' head. Sheffield, since the start of the season, I said they're one of those teams that can be really impressive, but they can also be really disappointing. And I think it's just one of those where I don't ever have confidence in them to stay out that relegation zone.
Oh, look at the confidence. I gotta thank Sheffield because of Sheffield, we are on 18th, finishing 18th in the football pyramid or in the Premier League. Up the football league we go. So thank you, Sheffield. Keep it up, keep going. And just to I mean, obviously to wrap up, Luton. I mean, considering the fact that Wolves had a player sent off, and then obviously you allow silly pass, square pass, and Pedro Neto to go and score. I think it was a massive 2 points drop. Personally, I think. But I mean, on the positive note, I mean, you could look at a point gain. Maybe we probably wouldn't have got it. But point would give them that belief that we can compete. Finally got a point on the board, so we can build on that. So it's one of those like you're happy, but you're not happy because you know what could have been.
Luton, if I'm making a points prediction for them, I don't see them getting more than about 20 points. If I'm being honest.
Listen, Cam. All right. So this is what we're doing. All right. If Luton get more than 20 points, you're taking me out to Novikov.
Cool. Now I'm gonna up it. I'm gonna say
no. You can't change it now.
Let me say 20.
No, 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 no.
24 points.
No, 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 no,
24
no.
points.
You heard it first, 20 points. So Cam, remember that, yeah? Guys, on that note, thank you very much for watching. For those who are watching, make sure you like, share, subscribe, and share it out to your family and friends. And we'll see you again next week. Thank you.